Hello children, I welcome you back to this portal of e-learning. Today we are going to do a topic of fiction under literature section entitled as The Enemy that has been written by Pearl S. Buck. Let's discuss about the writer first. Pearl Sinden Stricker Buck, she was born in 1892. She was an American writer and a novelist. She had a Chinese name, Tsai Zhenju, as she spent about 40 years in China. She was awarded the Pulitzer Prize in 1932 and the Nobel Prize in Literature in the year 1938, and she was the first American woman to achieve so. She strongly believed in the brotherhood and equality of all people. And this chapter, The Enemy, that has been written in 1942, confirms her belief in equality for all people. By the time of her death, Pearl published over 70 books, novels, collection of stories, biography and autobiography, poetry, drama, children's literature, and various translations from the Chinese. Let's discuss about the theme of the story before we go ahead. The writer of the story conveys that there comes a time in a man's life when it is required for him to lift from petty considerations of race, nationality, and act in human consideration. In this story, Dr. Sadao, being patriotic Japanese, he used to hate Americans. One day, a prisoner of war appears at the shore near Dr. Sadao's house. He was wounded, and both of them, Dr. Sadao and his wife Hannah, move over their feelings of hatred towards him, and they treat him until he is capable of taking care of himself. Not only they treat him, but also helped him to escape. Dr. Sadao arranged all the things that are required for him to escape. So by this humble and kind act, the theme of the story stands clear that humanity should rise above all. Through the story, the writer also shows the impact of war on the life of normal people. And the author, she has done it a very well way, a very emotional way and a touching way in the form of this story. So this story raises the high level of moral questions about ethics in the time of war. When is a patient? And when is he an enemy to be treated as threat? How are ethical principles prioritized when they are in conflict of this nature? So the story revolves around it. Let's discuss about the characters in the story. Dr. Sadao Hoki, who is the protagonist of the story, he was a Japanese doctor and he completed his specialization in medicine and surgery at the States. He was a scientist also. If we talk about the behavioral part, Dr. Hoki was a kind man and very generous. He was well-established doctor, a patriot, loving, very caring and devoted family man, and a very dedicated surgeon. He was committed to his professional duty. Then the other character, who is a minor character in the story, is Dr. Sadao's father. He was very much concerned about the son's education and was a true patriot. So that is how right from childhood he has been grown up in that kind of an environment wherein nationality it is the first thing. So they are the patriots by heart. He strongly believed and he loved Japanese values so much. Sadao's father was futuristic in nature but traditional. and a conventional man. He was a very quiet man and quite serious as well. So he's not like a father who plays and spends certain happy times with the child, but rather is too much into the academic part of it. Hannah, who is Dr. Sadao's wife, they both met in America. They became friends and got married in Japan later. She's quite responsible, dignified, graceful, supportive, and a well balanced woman. The next important character of the chapter is Tom, who was an American prisoner of war. He was a soldier of the States Navy and he was wounded that time. He was brave enough to survive the wounds by rocks and the furious waves as well. Tom has a rough yellow beard and long yellow hair. Yellow hair means the golden color hair. Then there is this old general, and he was sick at one point of time, and that's the main turn in the story, wherein he was too sick and needed an operation, and he used to trust only Dr. Sadao Hoki. He was very ruthless kind of a human being. He used to beat his wife, and he was not promising at all. Self-centered, selfish kind of a character he was, and he is unfaithful towards his nation also. Then there is an officer who was a messenger from the general who came to meet Dr. Hoki. Gardner, it's an old man who had been there since the time of Sadao's father. Yumi, she is another character. She was maidservant to Hannah, and the cook. There's an old cook in their house. Let us quickly discuss the plot overview, though we have talked a little about it already. The story revolves around Dr. Sadao, who is a Japanese surgeon, and his family. One fine day, Dr. Sadao and his wife Hannah, they saw a man who was washed away by the waves, and immediately they go near him to treat him. When they turned him, they realized that he's a white man, an American, prisoner of war. So there was this dilemma whether they should treat him or not, because harboring or treating an enemy would bring danger to their family. There were many apprehensions. Even then, they treat him, and Dr. Sadao, prompted by the professional duty, he operates upon him, extracts the bullet from his body, and saved his life. So he also does not hand him over to the police. He does his duty as a citizen by telling about the man to the general. But when the general fails to send his promised assassins, he helps the white men to escape to a nearby island in a boat. So this story, all in all, is a conflict between what is more important at a certain period of time. So you're going to pick up the nationality, you're going to pick up humanity or your values, you're going to be faithful to your country. So this story revolves around it. So let us discuss the story now. I have given different headings to the part of stories, and these headings we are going to discuss in detail. Dr. Sadao Hoki, he lived near the Japanese coast. His father had given him all the attention. To Sadao's father, his education was the most important thing. The father would take young Sadao to the islands near the shore and say that the islands were the stepping stones to the future of Japan. So Sadao had been sent at the age of 22 to America, to the States, to study surgery and medicine, and had returned at the age of 30. The military troops had, at present, when the story we are talking about, at present been sent abroad, but Sadao had not been sent for two reasons. First, he was a brilliant doctor and was working on an important medical discovery. Second, there was a possibility of the old general needing an operation. Consequently, Sadao was in Japan with his wife Hena and their children. He had met Hena in America at an American professor's house. They had finished their studies and returned to Japan. His father had also approved of his marrying her because of her faith in traditional Japanese values. Sadao considered himself lucky for having met her. One day, on a foggy evening, both of them they were standing out there and they saw a man thrown out the ocean by a wave. They saw him stagger a few steps and then fall. They noticed him crawling before he fell on his face and lay there. The two of them, presuming that he was a fisherman, they ran towards him, but he was a white man, their enemy, an American, but he was wounded and unconscious. It did not take Sada a moment to realize that it was a gun wound that had been reopened when he had struck against the rocks and was now bleeding. Sada tried to stop the bleeding. The man moaned with pain, but he did not awaken. They knew that they would be arrested for sheltering an enemy, but handing him in as a prisoner would certainly spell death for the wounded man. So they thought of putting him back in the sea. So this dilemma and this troublesome situation that was prevailing over. The man's uniform with the insignia US Navy gave away that was a sailor from an American warship. He was a prisoner of war who had escaped. Sada was reluctant to put an injured man into the sea, and Hannah suggested that they should carry him into the house. Sada was worried about the reaction of the servants. Hannah suggested they hand him over to the authorities as that she felt was also the right thing, and Sada agreed upon. So together they lifted the man and took him into an empty bedroom that had once been Sadao's father's. Then Sadao felt the pulse. It was faint. He knew that the man would die unless he was operated on. He decided to get to work immediately. Hannah noticed that he was very dirty and went to summon Yumi, she was the maid, to wash him. She did not let Sadao wash him as she resented him. He was, after all, an enemy to them. So when Sadao told the servants about the man in the house, both of them actually were very frightened. They were against their master healing the wounds of the white man. Hannah too was quite frightened. Although she was not superstitious like the old gardener, she felt it could never be right to help an enemy. Yumi brought the hot water but refused to wash a white man. Hannah was afraid that Yumi might let out the information of their harboring a white man. She tried to convince her that they would bring him to his senses and later hand him over as a prisoner, but Yumi insisted on keeping away. So Hannah was quite angry at Yumi. She washed the man until his upper body was quite clean. She also helped Sadao as he operated. Sadao washed the man's back and began work. The bullet was lodged in his body and he had lost much blood then. Hannah, she was not used to that sight. She turned pale and she ran out of the room to vomit. Sadao continued his work, but the fact that he could not go to his wife made him impatient and angry with the white man who was lying there, near to death. As Sadao operated, he wondered why he was doing it. Soon, Hannah came in again and gave the patient anesthesia. She was looking to the man at the sleeping face of the young American and wondered if the stories of the sufferings of prisoners were true. Wherever the Japanese armies went, the people received them with cries of joy at their liberation. At times, one heard of man as General Takima, who at home beat his wife cruelly. Yet no one talked of that after he fought a victorious battle in Manchuria. So, We move ahead. Hannah felt that if a man could be so cruel to a woman in his power, he would obviously be cruel to prisoners of war. Just as she hoped that this young man had not been tortured, she noticed the deep red scars on his neck. As Sadao operated, he thought of his old American professor of anatomy who had made a good surgeon out of him. As he got the bullet out, Sadao, out of habit, called the man my friend, forgetting that this was his enemy. Sadao looked after the patient till he regained his consciousness. When the young man realized where he was, he felt terrified. Hannah reassured him. The man was surprised to hear her talk in English. She told him that she was in America for a long time, as she fed him gently. She did not like him but wanted to comfort him. On the third day of the operation, Sada found the young man sitting up. He forced him to lie down and rest. The young boy, he was about 17 years old, asked Sadao if they would hand him over to the authorities. Sadao said that he did not know himself what to do with him. When Sadao went out, Hannah told him that the servants would not stay if the Americans stayed with them. They felt that Sadao and Hannah were not thinking of their own country. Sadao protested, saying he had been trained not to let a man die if he could help out. Till the time there was a little rebellion in the house by the servants. They could not understand this as the day passed, so they were polite enough, but their eyes they were cold. The old gardener felt that the man should have been allowed to bleed to death. The cook felt that it was the master's pride that led him to save the man. Yumi said that they ought to think of their children who would suffer if their father was punished as a traitor. The servants they made sure that Hannah was within the hearing distance when they were discussing all this, because that was the deliberate conversation. Tom, the prisoner, he had begun recovering, and in a fortnight he would recover completely. Sadao then went back to his office and carefully typed a letter to the chief of police reporting the whole matter. He then put the unfinished report into a secret drawer. On the seventh day after that, the servants left. Hannah was terrified, but she paid them off and thanked them for all that they had done for her. They all were crying, but she did not cry. Yumi offered to come if the children cried, but Hannah was sure that she would not send for Yumi no matter how much the baby cried. Hannah made the breakfast and Sadao helped with the children. After having taken morning food to the prisoner, Hannah talked to Sadao. She wondered as to why they could not clearly see what to do, like the servants. She wondered why they were different from other Japanese. A little while later, Sadao went to the prisoner and instructed him to start getting up to get back his strength as quickly as possible. Tom thanked him for saving his life. Sadao told him it was too early to thank him, and the boy looked so terrified. Sadao again noticed the scars on his neck, but he did not ask anything about that. So the same afternoon, a messenger came to their door in official uniform. Hannah was very nervous. She felt that the servants had reported them. But the messenger had come to call Sadao as the old general was in pain again. Sadao, sensing Hannah's nervousness, he felt that he ought to get rid of Tom. Now Sadao, he went to meet the general and he informed him about Tom. He told the general that although he did not care about Tom, yet he felt responsible for him since he had operated on him with such success. To the general, the episode made Sadao even more important, as it was clear that he could save anyone. Sadao cautioned the general to look after his health as he would not stand another attack. Now the general assured Sadao that he would not allow anything to happen to Sadao. If Sadao was condemned to death, the general would not have a good doctor around to take care of him. So later on, Sadao suggested it would be best if the American could be quietly killed. The general said that he could send his private assassins to his house, and all Sadao would have to do is to leave the white man's room open while he slept. So it was decided that the assassins would also take the body away. So that is how the story goes on. And then there comes this last part of that. Sadao left the general and went home and thinking over the plan. He decided not to tell Hannah anything as she would not like the idea of assassins in the house because there were kids also. Reaching home, Sadao went into Tom's room and found him getting ready to go into the garden. Sadao told him that he had not been permitted to leave his room, but Tom said that he was not used to waiting for permission. Moreover, he felt pretty good again, but the muscles on the side of the wound felt stiff. Sadao immediately forgot about his concerns and examined the man and advised massage. Tom was not bothered about the stiff muscles. He told Sadao that had he not met a Japanese like him, he would not have been alive. Sadao could not speak. He added that were all the Japanese like Sadao, there would not have been a war. Sadao slept very badly at that night. He woke up over and over again thinking about the assassins. He went into Tom's room and saw him sleeping peacefully. Then later on, Sadao expected the general to execute the plan. It was a windy night. Hannah suggested that they go and close the sick man's partition, but Sadao refused because he had promised the general that he will let the door open. However, the next morning the American was still there. Now Sadao slept a little better, but he woke at the sound of a crash and jumped to his feet. Hannah was taken aback and wanted to go and check. The baby woke at her voice and began to cry, but Sadao held her and would not let her move. He was terrified and stood waiting, but there was only silence. The next morning, the young man seemed happy and looked neat and clean. He announced that he was well. Sadao decided that he could not go through with the tension another night, not because he cared for the young man's life, but because it was not worth the strain. Sadao suggested that he would put his boat on the shore at night with food and clothes. Tom would row it to the deserted island not far from the coast and stay there until he saw a Korean fishing boat. The young man agreed to the plan. As soon as it was dark, Sadao brought the boat down to the shore, put food, bottles of water, and two quilts into it. Tom thanked Sadao for saving his life again. Sadao only said that it was inconvenient to have him with them. He also gave Tom a flashlight and told him to signal with it if he ran out of food. He gave him other instructions, lest he be caught. Soon the young man was dressed in the Japanese clothes, ready to leave. He shook Sadao's hand warmly and left. And that night, Sadao actually slept peacefully. The general had an emergency operation. Sadao had been unable to ask why the assassins had never come. By then the servants returned, and Yumi cleaned the guest room thoroughly. The general recouped a week after being operated. Sadao then told the general that the prisoner had escaped. The general was apologetic because in his suffering he only thought of himself and he forgot his promise to Sadao, and not because he was not patriotic. Sadao realized that his secret was perfectly safe with the general. He said that he could vouch for the general's loyalty. This made the general happy and he promised to reward him. That night, Sadao saw no flash of light in the darkness in the sea. He felt it was truly his reward. His prisoner had gone. Sadao was sure he was safe. He recalled all the Americans that he had known in the past. The professor at whose house he had met Hannah, his old teacher of anatomy, and his fat landlady. He also remembered that he had found it difficult to find a place to live in America because he was a Japanese. The Americans were full of prejudice. He, as a Japanese, knew that he was superior to the Americans. He had hated the ignorant and dirty old women who had agreed to rent him a room in her miserable home. He found it difficult even to be grateful to her, but she had taken care of him when he was sick. He had found her disgusting, but then he thought all white people were disgusting. He was happy to be returned to Japan. Then he recalled the young, tired face of his prisoner, the 17 years old boy. and wondered why he could not kill him. And that's how the story ends. Let us revisit the important points quickly of the chapter. The first that says Dr. Sadao, he was a dutiful son. So that's what we have been discussing, and we have seen it, observe it in the story. When Sadao he was a little boy, his father showed him the islands not far from the shore and told him that those islands were the stepping stones to the future of Japan. Listening attentively to all that his father said, Sadao realized that his education was the most important thing in the world to his father. At 22, that is why he was sent to America to study surgery and medicine, and he returned at the age of 30. Since he was working on an important medical discovery, he was not sent abroad with the troops. And he always agreed to fulfill his father's wishes. Sadao and Hannah came across the American soldier. That's a very important point. The American soldier came into the lives of the Japanese couple quite suddenly one day. Sadao and Hannah, they saw from their house, overlooking the beach, a man crawling out of the ocean on his hands and knees who fell on his face and lay there. They rushed out to help him, thinking it was a fisherman. It was only on coming closer that they saw the man was badly hurt. He had a gunshot wound and his clothes were wet rags. They turned his head and saw he was a white man whose gunshot wound had reopened. Looking at the US Navy insignia on his tattered uniform, they realized that he was a prisoner of war. The enemy's exit from the couple's life was equally dramatic. After Sadao confided in the general about the American in his house, the general said that he would send his private assassins to his house to kill the white man. Though Sadao waited for 3 nights, the assassins did not turn up. Unable to live in such tension, Sadao suggested to the American that he would put him in a boat at night with food and extra clothes in it, and Tom could row it to the little island not far from the coast. This plan was executed, and it was the last that Sadao and his family ever saw Tom. Sadao and Hannah's chance meeting. Sadao had met Hannah by chance at the American professor's house while both of them were students in America. Professor Harley and his wife had been kind people who wanted to entertain their few foreign students. On one such occasion, Sadao met Hannah. She was a new student there. They had not married in haste while in America. On the contrary, Sadao and Hannah had waited for the completion of their studies and their love to mature. After finishing their studies, Sadao and Hannah returned to Japan. After his father had seen her and realized that she too valued traditional Japanese values, the marriage was arranged in the old Japanese way. Although Sadao and Hannah had talked everything over before, they were a perfectly happy couple, and Sadao thought about how lucky he was that he had met her. The servants in Sadao family, they did not approve of their decision. When Sadao and Hannah they got the wounded American home, they were apprehensive about the reaction of the servants. They decided to explain it to the servants that they would hand the man to the police as soon as he recovered. But they were very frightened. And also the servants. They felt that Sadao ought not to treat the wounds of a white man because he is an enemy. The old gardener felt that the white man ought to die. If he was saved, he would take revenge on them. When the American needed to be washed, Hannah called Yumi for help. She refused to wash a white man, and Hannah had to do it herself. Sadao then operated on the man and saved his life. But the servants disapproved of their actions. They felt that since Hannah and Sadao had been in America for a long time, they had forgotten to think of their own country. They felt that the soldiers should have been left to die. On the 7th day after the wounded soldier's arrival, the servants they left. So all servants they left because they were frightened of the white man's presence in the house. They felt it was wrong for Sadao to heal the wounds of a white man. They could not understand when Sadao, who had been trained not to let a man die if he could help, agreed that Americans were their enemies, but treated him nevertheless. The old gardener felt that the white man ought to die, he has to bleed. They were not justified because compassion and love are fundamental to all human beings. According to them, it was unethical, and the enemy should be treated as human first. It was far beyond of their thinking. So that is why the servants they left. The general, who is a self-centered man in the story, in spite of a war, Sadao was kept in Japan to tend to the old general, lest he needed an operation. General Takima, who used to beat his wife cruelly, but no one talked about that after he fought a victorious battle in Manchuria. Hannah believed that if a man could be so cruel to a woman in his power, he would be worse to an enemy. When Sadao visited the general, he told him about the white man at his place. The general, instead of reacting furiously, felt reassured that Sadao would save anyone. He wanted to save the doctor more than ever as he might require his services. He suggested that he would send two of his private assassins to the doctor's house at night. They would also take the soldier's body away. However, no action was taken for 3 nights after that. On the fourth day, Sadao put Tom on his boat with provisions and told him to row to the island nearby. He later learned that although the general had promised to send assassins, he had forgotten to send them in his anxiety about his own health. Sadao's feeling for the Americans. The wounded soldier brought back memories of his time in America that he had spent at the States. Sadao recalled the other white men he had known in America. He thought of the professor of anatomy at whose house he had met Hannah. He remembered the fat landlady. He recalled how difficult it had been to find a place to live in America because he was a Japanese. And the Americans, they were full of prejudice. It had been tough to live with such antagonistic feeling. As a Japanese, he had believed that he was superior to Americans because that was what he has been taught right from the childhood. He had hated the ignorant and dirty old woman who had agreed to rent him a room in her miserable house. She had taken care of him when he was sick. He had tried to be grateful to her, but it proved difficult for him. He thought she was disgusting, even though she was kind, but then white people were disgusting to Sadao. Then he remembered the young, tired face of his prisoner who was a 17-year-old young boy. It had been white and disgusting, and he wondered why he could not kill him. The dilemma that Sadao faced when he found an injured American soldier, that's another important point. So, the two main principles of medical ethics state a physician shall, while caring for a patient, regard responsibility to the patient as paramount, and a physician shall support access to medical care for all people. So, in light of this, Sadao's primary duty as a doctor was to help his patient without caring for his identity. He had to struggle between loyalty to his country and his training as a doctor to save a life. He instinctively chose the latter. Though rationality told him to hand over the prisoner to the police, humanitarian feelings and professional ethics made him act otherwise. Sadao, who had grown up believing that the Japanese were a superior race, had not had a pleasant experience in America because he was a Japanese. The Americans were full of prejudice according to him and according to his experience. He had found it tough to live with such feelings. Also, his socio-cultural values made it even more difficult for him to accept the Americans. But he could not let the young American soldier bleed to death. Neither could he kill him himself. While operating on him, he had called him my friend and had for the moment forgotten that he was his enemy. His instinctive sympathy towards suffering being conflicted with his duty as a loyal Japanese. And we have seen that how this dilemma it was resolved by the end. Now what's the message that Pearl intends to give here? Human beings, they have the ability to reason everything. However, thoughtful consideration is not always used in determining actions which are driven by motivation and intrinsic motivation. What complicates a decision at times is how a person may have contradicting motives due to his internal conflicts. Sadao, who was a Japanese surgeon, lived in Japan during the Second World War with his wife Hena and the servants. Earlier, he had spent several years in the United States during medical school, where he had experienced cultural prejudices and biasness. He did not have a few positive experiences at all, including those with his teacher and landlady. But most Americans had not welcomed him. Despite this, he put his life in jeopardy to save an American prisoner of war. So Pearl S. Buck shows how humanitarian considerations override man-made barriers of rationality and culture. Man's affinity, despite cultural prejudices, is instinctive. Followed an assignment. Well, in the first question that reads, Dr. Sadao faced a dilemma. Should he use his surgical skills to save the life of a wounded person or hand an escaped American POW over to the Japanese police? And how did he resolve this clash of values? The other question that reads, Dr. Sadao was a patriotic Japanese as well as a dedicated surgeon. How could he honor both the values? And the third question that says, what was the general's plan to get rid of the American prisoner? Was it executed? What traits of general's character are highlighted in the lesson? In case of any question, any query, you can post in the comment tab. Thank you everyone. Thank you so much for all the patient listening. I wish you happy learning. Complete the assignment. That's the end of the lesson.